Gamecast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the GamerCast Network video game show for Sunday, March 31st, 2009. This is episode 144. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, what game... There we go. What game... Ivan, it was your question to begin with. Why don't you say it?
I've mulled it 3 times already.
What game do you remember not liking until you realized that you were playing it wrong, and then when you played it the correct way, you realized that it was a very good game, and then you began to enjoy it?
There you go. And joining us this evening is Keith.
Why don't you pick one of the people that have a solid answer?
Okay, there we go. Why don't we pick one that has a solid answer? Ivan, what's your answer?
I'm hoping my answer will be Sacred 2, but my answer before was Super Mario Brothers 2. The quick rundown was I didn't realize that you plucked plants out of the ground and sometimes they popped up a potion. And when you threw the potion, it opened up a little door, but if you didn't throw the potion in the exact right spot, it didn't open a door to anything useful. It always opened up a door to, like, a room with, like, 2 guys in it or something like that. So there were specific spots that you had to put these portal doors in order to move around the area, and I didn't know that until I went to school one day, and I explained to somebody that I thought, this game sucks because I don't know how to advance or anything, and he's like, oh, well, you gotta throw the potions, like, right here and then right here, and then I did that, and it turned out to be super fun, and I played that game for a very long time. Probably my favorite Super Mario Brothers game.
And also joining us is Bob.
Ashron's Call 1 when I found out there were quests. And I literally played about 15 levels before I figured out you could get a quest.
So you were just punching boars and chickens and stuff?
I just ran around punching stuff, and I was like, where do people keep getting all this equipment? I don't have any equipment. I used to just have to go buy it at the store or beg or trade for it or something, and then I found out there were quests. Yeah, I didn't know there were quests.
I'm assuming that's because it's one of the first MMOs you played.
It is the first MMO I played, so I had absolutely no idea I was supposed to be looking for quests.
That's kind of a staple of MMOs now. You probably won't ever make that mistake again.
No.
That'll be funny if you ever play one again and there are no quests, you'll be running around going, where's the f***ing quest?
Exactly.
Okay. Keith, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I'm going to say Shadowrun for the Super Nintendo because I didn't know how to switch equipment for a long time. So I only had the stupid pistol, and I know I would buy shit, and I couldn't find it. I thought it was automatically equipping it, but it wasn't. And I just kept getting killed until I realized, oh, I have to go into this sub-menu of a sub-menu of a sub-menu, and now I can not die.
My answer, I think I mentioned this a long time ago. I played a role-playing game called Baten Kaitos, and for, probably 5-6 hours, I was going through this one zone, and it was super tough. I couldn't get more than a few steps like getting into a fight and then getting my ass handed to me until I realized I went down path A when I should have gone down path B because I didn't understand how the overhead map was working that well. So once I walked into path B after having grinded for 5, 6, 7 hours, I found the game much more enjoyable because the enemies were very easy to kill. This week on the GamerCast Network. In episode 31 of Sarcastic Gamer Pink, the ladies discuss everything from UFC 2009 to racism in the new Fable 2 DLC. This week's Retro Force Go is all about platformers, and man, there was a lot to talk about. Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong Country, Mega Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, Wonder Boy, Clona. There is almost too many to mention. Why do we love them? Which ones are the best? Jump into one of our favorite episodes yet. Check out this week's post-game report for a special episode featuring Paris from Uncle Gamer Radio. They discuss the world of podcasting and the grueling life of being a host. Discover the community that gives you all these great podcasts and more at GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Did you try Sacred 2 at all?
Yeah, not impressed. It's Oblivion, kinda.
I wanted it to be Diablo.
No, it's nothing like Diablo. At least as far as I'm concerned.
But it is a third-person kind of game, right?
Yeah.
Similarity ends there.
Yeah. I don't like how they substitute over-complicatedness for in-depthness. So they're trying to make it an in-depth game, and in doing so, they just overcomplicated it. I mean, Diablo is about as simplified as you can get. You walk around, you shoot stuff, you pick up new equipment, and you equip the better stuff, and then when you level up, you put points in stats and in spells. You do all that in Sacred too, but then there's this whole convoluted rune-like system where you have to pick up a rune in order to learn a certain spell, and each guy you pick has 3 different like trees that you can pick. I picked like the essentially what boils down to like the necromancer class, and he's got like a melee tree, a undead tree where you cause diseases and raise dead, and then some other tree. And I know I didn't want to do the melee tree, I wanted to do like the undead kind of tree. And so it started me off in the game in like the melee tree where, you know, first off, I couldn't just run around and cast spells on people. For the first hour of the game, I had to punch people with a tiny little hatchet. And it's like I picked this guy because I wanted to shoot things with mage styles, and I suppose that means I should have just picked the straight up mage, but you know, to me that means if there's a class and one of the trees is like a mage tree, why do I have to start off in the melee tree
when you want to be a mage?
Right, you know, so I'm thinking, well, I should have just been a mage, but the mage is like Captain Generic Mage. You've got the ice tree, the fire tree, and the lightning tree, and it's like I've done that to death. That's the same mage in every game ever. I like mages, but I like the mages that have different stuff. Like in Titan Quest, when they released the Immortal Throne, they had the whatever he was, the Mind Weaver or whatever he was called, the guy with all the weird time spells. And maybe I was doing it wrong. You know, maybe somebody is gonna send a note in saying you're an idiot. All the stuff that you want to do, you can do. You just do it this way. But if that's the case, then that's another flaw of the game, is it wasn't blatantly obvious how to do that, because I started off as a Inquisitor. That's the other annoying thing, is he walks around and every time he like fights people, he says stuff like, "You will answer to the Inquisition."
Did you say it to like when you're fighting wolves and that kind of stuff? That'd be kind of funny.
I do remember fighting wolves. There are, you know, animals and stuff that you fight.
Of course there are. There are also scorpions in the desert realm.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the desert part yet. I only played in the forest area.
Oh, when you get there, you'll find scorpions.
And the worst part about it is that it's kind of a bigger open world, unlike Diablo. It's more like Oblivion, except you can't jump. So every small fence, rock, or tree...
You have to walk around.
Right, becomes terrain obstacles.
So it's like living like a pig, because pigs can't jump. Or hippopotamus. Right. It was like, oh god, it's a rock. I have to go around.
Now, to be fair, you couldn't jump in Diablo.
Well, right, but I very much doubt they had... I mean, they didn't have random just... Like,
garbage
here's a tree stump. Yeah. Oh, you have to go around.
Right. So that's what I mean. It's a big, large, open environment, like outdoors. Like, if you're running through a forest, you're going to find a lot of trees. So there's lots of things to get in your way.
So many things you should be jumping over.
There's a fence around a building or something like that, and you're on one end, and the entrance is in the other, and the fence is, 6 inches off the ground. So instead of being able to just hop over this fence, because it clearly wasn't meant to keep humans out because it's too short, you have to walk all the way around to get in. It wouldn't be a big deal if you couldn't jump, if there weren't so many obstacles to prevent you from taking a direct path.
That's super sweet. That's what that is.
Were there bad guys in your way?
No. It wasn't like, okay, here's point A, here's point B. Instead of just going in a straight line, we want you to go this way because there's more bad guys, more treasure chests or something for you to pick up along the way. It's just, no, the developer, the terrain guy, put all this crap in to make it real pretty, but by doing so, you couldn't go from point A to point B in a straight line.
See, that's the problem with over-prettifying things.
There was no dungeons or anything, It wasn't like walk around in the outside forest thing and enter a cave and fight the cave bats and stuff. I didn't get to do any of that.
I'm sorry. You sound disappointed that you weren't able to do that.
Well, if it's gonna, not that they advertised it as Diablo-like, but if people who have played it in the past think that that's kind of what it's like, it kind of sets an expectation, and the expectation has not yet been met. I only played it for a few hours. I didn't really give it, this is more of a hands-on preview than it is a review. I haven't given it enough time to give it an honest review. I'll try it again, but my first impression was, yeah, this is a lot like Oblivion. And honestly, if I want to play a game that's like Oblivion but not better than Oblivion, I'm just going to go play Oblivion. So I'll play it again. I'll probably restart it and play as a... it was a toss-up between the Dryad, which was the Forest Ranger guy, or the Inquisitor, which was the Necromancer kind of guy. I always play the Ranger Marksman Bow guy, so I went with the Necromancer guy. So I'll either go back and try it as the Mage to play, see if I can just do Mage spells, or I'll try it as the Dryad and see how that goes.
Yeah, you just willingly said you wanted to be a Dryad.
If they had the big orc guy who was also a master of the bow, I would always pick him.
Oh, no, I know that. I just always laugh because, the classes you like always tend to be, like, the fruitiest of models that they use.
That's the problem, is it's not that I like the fruity models, it's that I like the weapons they use. I don't know who decided that the archer always had to be the elf fruitcake fairy guy.
Exactly. Why can't you just pick your... I want to be my giant orc guy. I just happen to also want to use a bow. Where's the problem there?
Friggin' Rambo walked around with a bow and arrow through an entire forest, and he was a giant badass. Why can't I have a big muscly guy be an archer?
Because then what would they have the girls do?
Next topic.
Keith, you'll be happy finally.
No, he won't.
I will, or why won't I? Why will I?
Wait, did I miss something?
Yeah, because Chris said the same thing, and I replied to his tweet that he put that that's not... go ahead.
Okay, I thought I read that they're going to have online co-op in Madden, the next Madden, Madden 10.
Okay, and so maybe I'm wrong, and Keith obviously can correct us, but my impression of what Keith wanted from a Madden game was him and 3 of his buddies to sit in a room and drink beer and play Madden all on the same team.
Yep, that is exactly what we're looking for.
I think you're gathering the fact here that they say online co-op. They don't say same room co-op.
That's their same stupid that they always do, where it's going to be 2 people on 2 people.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm reading, is if you played online whatsoever at all before, it was you on one team versus whoever you were playing online on another team. And now they're saying what the change is that you playing online at home can play with somebody else in another home on the same team, but it's still only 2 people on a team.
Yeah, that sounds like something they would do, where they're not quite intelligent enough to get it right.
I'm on MaddenNFL.easports.com, and it says, for the first time in franchise history, blah, 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 quote, team up with a friend online to work on game strategy, practice plays, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, meaning 2-player.
Okay, so yeah, there you go, Keith. Sorry. You're not going to be happy. You're still going to be upset.
That's what Chris had posted, that my brother will finally enjoy Madden again because for the first time they have online co-op. And so I went and read about it and looked, and I replied, no, he won't be happy because they still aren't doing what he wants out of the game. And so if I was snotty at first, it was only because I'm like, no, everyone keeps saying Keith's going to be happy now. And he's still not.
I'm never happy!
Next topic.
Now, this Lego Indiana Jones 2.
Hooray! My kid is going to be so happy.
Well, I have a question, though. So, it was announced, and it's coming out to all platforms, and the only major change, it sounds like, is they're including a new movie, Crystal Skull, and they're going to do more with the older movies. Why would you want to put your kid through Indiana Jones 4?
No kid should have to endure Indiana Jones 4.
You know what? It doesn't matter. Lego, they're still fun.
Let me explain it to you because, no offense, none of you will understand because you either are not or do not have children. Because kids don't necessarily care that the 4th Indiana Jones and the prequel Star Wars movies were actually no good. To a kid, it's still awesome. My kid doesn't care. He loves Indiana Jones no matter what, and he actually enjoys watching the 4th movie. So he's going to love this, 1, because it's his Lego game, and 2, because it's got his favorite character of all time in it. He's not even aware that, there's actually a sequence of quality of movie, that the 3rd one is better than all of them, and it goes 3, 1, 2, 4 is the order of goodness in the movies.
No, it's 1, 3, 2, 4.
No.
Raiders is better than all of them.
No, dude.
Disagree. I like the 3rd one the best.
I like the 3rd one the best.
The 3rd one is the first one, almost. It's different things, but it's almost the exact same movie.
But it doesn't have Sean Connery.
Okay.
Sean Connery equals win.
Okay, I'm fighting a losing argument here. I won't try.
That's right, you won't. So stop.
Next topic.
I tried to play Infinite Undiscoveries. Yeah, I got about 15 minutes in. Can't read a goddamn thing.
Oh, another high def issue.
Yep, it fails.
That would really suck too, since it's a role-playing game and you gotta probably fight and read numbers and.
Yeah, you have to read because it tells you, oh, you have to do this to collect these. Well, except I can't read what I have to do. I can be 2 inches from the screen. It's all still just a big blurred mess. It really is infinite undiscoveries. I will never discover what the text is trying to say. It will forever be an infinite undiscovery as it's now going to be turned into some store somewhere for a different game.
Next topic.
Mailbag.
This is from Eric. Hey guys, I used to play D&D as a kid and then moved to the computer games, such as Zork, Ultima, Telengard, etc. Since then, I've lost interest in the D&D genre, even with the advent of WoW. I've tried WoW and just find it boring. I know I'm going to get hate for saying that.
No, you get a ham sandwich for saying that.
I just don't find any excitement in a game that never really ends and takes so much time to develop a character via mining and other boring tasks.
Well, okay.
Even if you don't find it fun, you don't have to mine anything if you don't want to. You can rip it, that's fine, but...
Yeah. Okay, well, what's going on here? I did, however, recently play a game that's revitalized my love for the genre. It's a game called Underworld by Pixelmine, and it's on the iPhone platform. People have mentioned it's sort of like Diablo, which I'm embarrassed to say I've never played. Could you recommend anything like this game for either the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, or Mac platform? Windows XP if nothing else.
Sure, Diablo 2.
And if you like that, try Lord of Destruction, which is a expansion for Diablo 2.
Now, if he doesn't like the graphics, you can always try Titan Quest. I saw you play Underworlds there, Ivan, on the iPhone.
Yeah, it's a good game. It is kind of very Diablo-like. The controls are a little to be desired, but I don't think anyone has really nailed controls on the iPhone yet, since it is a complete touchscreen device.
Is it just like Diablo 2? Is it like a 3/4 walk-around, hack and slash, get stuff?
Yeah. The 3/4 perspective, the dungeon stuff, the fighting is all very similar, although it's a lot less in-depth as far as leveling. When you level up, you can put points and stats, but you only have 3 abilities, and there's no classes. So you have a shield bash, a spinning attack, which hits multiple opponents, and then like a super slash thing. Those are the only 3 skills you ever get in the game.
It's a very light version, then, of Diablo.
Yeah, it's a good game for the iPhone. But as far as other games like that, unfortunately he picked the 3 platforms we know the least about. I mean, the Mac platform...
They got Diablo.
So yeah, you could play Diablo on the Mac. I doubt Titan Quest has a Mac version. There's a website called reflexive.com, which has kind of in between light casual games and hardcore downloadable games. They do have a Mac store for Reflexive, so you'll find a lot of good games on Reflexive.
There's Dungeon Siege on the PSP, which is a hack and slash game like Diablo, and there's one other one. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Untold Legends. There's 2 Untold Legends on the PSP. I think there's 2 that are very much like Diablo. Not exactly, but as close as you'll find in the PSP.
If you've got a PSP and you haven't played the God of War version for PSP, people who I do know who have one say that it's a very good game.
Oh, he has one little PS here. Whoever does that creepy voice for the Team Fortress should consider making that character regular on the show. It's hilarious.
Team Fortress does the voice for Team Fortress.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
He just shows up, man. We can't really control that.
Next topic.
Anybody have anything else?
Good news, I read on the Archon Classic forums that I think they're submitting their first build of the game to the App Store this coming week. So Archon for the iPhone should be coming out fairly quickly. They put all their development time into the iPhone thing, but they're kind of developing all of them simultaneously. So if they're getting the iPhone version ready for submitting to the App Store, that means the PC version won't be too far behind.
Next topic.
What were you going to say there, Keith?
I was just going to say there's a severe lack of any interest-drawing games from my camp here. Nothing has really been there to tickle my fancy recently.
Yeah, we're heading into the, this is pretty much the video game drought. Summer will typically have a couple decent games just to tide you over until fall. But yeah, from early spring until early fall, there's never anything really but a couple decent games.
And why doesn't some developer seize on that and put out their big game right now when there's no competition?
They all have the same philosophy, which is we're going to sell more games during the holidays when everyone's buying stuff. And just because one developer says, well, there's not a lot of good games coming out in June, let's release a game. They have the same problem, is just that moms aren't buying games during the summer because the kids are out at the pool and at the park.
It's one of those things that's always irritated me. Why is there ever a drought? If you're some other company, seize on this moment and put your crap out now when there's no other competition. Is it because you're not going to be recognized as Game of the Year because it's not in the last 3 months of the year?
I think it's more that developers don't, or publishers probably, don't care about competition. They make games and they release them when they will typically sell the best, which is why at the end of last year, there was 10 awesome games all in a row. And one of the things we kept complaining about was we don't have time to play all of the games that are coming out because they're all awesome and we want to play them all. So I think competition is less an issue than sales for video game publishers. Unlike movies, where movies, they typically want to release movies when there's less competition, but people will go see a movie whenever because it's $10 or whatever it is for a movie anymore instead of $60 for a game.
All I'm saying is someone should be working on that and getting a game out now when no one else is putting the game out. This is the perfect opportunity to have the one game that everyone will be playing.
That's my opinion of why they don't do it, but that doesn't mean I don't agree with you, because I do. I think now is a good time to release something when nobody is planning on releasing anything for a month or two before or after. Now I think is an awesome time to release, a super awesome game.
And that was Video Game Show episode number 144 for Sunday, March 31st, 2009. Any ham sandwiches or Shadow Dream pies to give the world peoples?
Shadow Dream pie to the Cavs because they suck because they're from Cleveland. And we'd never win anything ever.
I gotta admit, that was kind of... I watched the end of that and I just did kind of laugh. I really did. It was just okay, that's kind of funny.
What makes it worse for Cleveland is it's not like we're just awful. You get to the final 4 teams or whatever, and then we just completely you know what, that's good enough. I'm gonna go home.
So funny is everyone always has the sob story for one sports team in a city because this one sports team is awful and has always been awful and will always be awful. Well, every sports team in Cleveland is awful.
It's like putting the plate of food outside the prisoner's cage. It'd be better if you just didn't even put it there, because then he would just starve to death. It makes it worse that you put the feast right in front of him and then let him starve to death. He can see it. He can smell it. He can almost taste it, but he'll never have it.
The only sports team that was ever consistently good and won championships all the time was the frickin' Cleveland Force, and that was soccer, and nobody cares about soccer.
It's not even a real sport. All our sports teams are like the guy from Mystery Men. As long as we're not looking at them or acknowledging them, they do okay.
Exactly.
As soon as people start paying attention, whoop, they suck.
Don't forget about our World of Warcraft contest. We're giving away a code for 2 months of subscription time. All you have to do to win is send into the mailbag, Skype, or voicemail a rendition of an 8-bit tune with just your voice. No other instruments, just your voice. That contest is going to last a couple more weeks. However, we have another contest, which we're starting up right now, and it's going to be over very quick. Thanks to our friends at Game Trailers, we're giving away 10 codes for the upcoming Uncharted 2 multiplayer beta for the PlayStation 3. The beta is starting on June 3rd. So if you want a code, quickly send into the mailbag an email telling us why you should get a code. We'll start handing out codes for the best emails on June 3rd. We only have 10 codes and the beta is only up for a limited time. So get your emails into the mailbag quickly. So send your entry along with your comments, questions, queries, concerns, or roll call question to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org. Skype us at videogameshow or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long distance call and all normal fees apply. And that's a wrap. Good night.
Which reveals the controls underneath. So essentially you've got The top part
Somebody hit
that is
that.
the
Something's
No.
going crazy.
It's Ivan. But keep going, Ivan. You'll be okay. It'll clear.
It's because it's 7:30, and every day at 7:30, somebody downloads 10 gigabytes worth of porn or something that shares the network with me. Because every day at 7:30, this happens. I slow down.
I just picture
Awesome.
some fat bastard sitting there with his mullet and balding head,
Oh,
naked in front of the computer. Naked in front of the computer.
oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh god. I just love 7:30.
It's my favorite time of the day.
Yes, no. Keep talking there, Ivan.
I'm still talking now.
Oh, there
I'm
you
still
go.
Hey, he must have finished.
Wow, that was quick. It was only like 2.5 minutes.
It was a good one.